With a big screen, a solid camera, and long battery life, the Galaxy S21 FE has just about everything you'd want in a phone. And it's only $700. But so does the Pixel 6, which is a little bit cheaper. Plus, Samsung might announce the Galaxy S22 in the near future, which could bring some pretty big camera upgrades. So, should you buy the Galaxy S21 FE now, wait for the Galaxy S22, or just go for the Pixel 6 instead? Let's talk about it. The Galaxy S20 FE was a big hit when it launched in 2020, so it's not surprising that Samsung is launching a sequel on January 11th called the Galaxy S21 FE. It's $100 less expensive than the regular Galaxy S21 and comes with a bigger screen and larger battery. It also runs on the same processor as the S21 and comes with a triple lens camera. It's a pretty complete package for $700. I've been using it for the past couple of days and have been really impressed with the battery life and how snappy the performance feels. But you might be wondering what's actually new about this phone. Well, not much. That's because the S21 FE is essentially just a cheaper version of the regular Galaxy S21. Instead of keeping the S21 around when the Galaxy S22 eventually launches, Samsung will just sell the FE in its place. So if you're the type of person that typically buys last year's phone to save some money rather than going for the newer, more expensive model, the Galaxy S21 FE is probably for you. The Galaxy S21 FE looks a lot like the regular S21, especially from the front. Both phones have an edge-to-edge screen with a hole punch cutout for the selfie camera, and both phones also have flat edges, which I prefer over the slightly curved edges on the Galaxy S21 Ultra. But you'll notice the Galaxy S21 FE is slightly bigger than the regular model at 6.4 inches compared to the 6.2-inch Galaxy S21. Overall, I think this is the right balance of having more screen space without making the phone feel too large to use with one hand. The phones look similar from the back, too. They both have a matte finish that doesn't get as smudgy as Samsung's older phones that had a more glossy look. But you'll notice that the Galaxy S21 has some shiny metallic accents on the sides and rear camera bump that make it look a little more fancy than the S21 FE. The Galaxy S21 FE is nice enough for a $700 phone, but I prefer the Pixel 6's design. It's made of glass and has boxier edges that kind of remind me of Samsung's Galaxy Note series. Plus, I think the two-toned color scheme is just more eye-catching. But Samsung's phone is lighter than Google's, which can make it easier to use, especially for longer periods of time. There's a USB-C port at the bottom of the S21, but no expandable storage. The base model comes with 128 gigs of storage, but you'll have to upgrade to the $770 version to get twice the amount of space. The Galaxy S21 FE runs on the same processor as the regular S21, meaning it'll have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 processor in the US. It's also the same chip in the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3, which means it's definitely capable of some heavy lifting. The interface feels really quick and responsive, games run smoothly even with the graphics set to high, and the camera launches nearly instantly. Another thing that makes this phone feel fast is that you can boost the screen's refresh rate up to 120 Hz. That's not new, and the rest of the Galaxy S21 lineup can do this too. But this used to be an option that was only available in more expensive phones, so it's nice to see it on a more affordable device. Apple, for example, only includes higher refresh rates on the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max, not the regular iPhone 13. Battery life was a highlight with the S20 FE, and that's true again with the S21 FE. Both phones have a 4500 mAh battery that's bigger than the S21's battery, which makes sense since the phone itself is bigger. I've been getting well beyond a day out of the S21 FE, even with the refresh rate set to high, which is really nice to see. You'll also get wireless charging and the ability to use the back of your phone as a wireless charging pad for other devices. Both the regular S21 and the Pixel 6 can do that too. Still, it's great to see extra features like these on Samsung's more affordable device too. The Galaxy S21 FE has a triple lens camera with a 12 megapixel wide camera, 12 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, and an 8 megapixel telephoto camera. The main difference between this and Samsung's regular S21 is that the more expensive phone has a 64 megapixel telephoto camera. The difference was noticeable sometimes, but in certain shots, especially pictures of street signs, it was hard to tell them apart. Both versions of the S21 also let you record with the front and rear cameras at the same time. But on the regular S21, you can also toggle between the 3 rear-facing camera lenses when shooting in this mode, which you can't do on the S21 FE. This might be useful for YouTubers and vloggers, but honestly, I didn't feel like I was missing out on that much in terms of camera features when switching between the Galaxy S21 and S21 FE. As for how Samsung's new phone compares to the Pixel 6, well, there are pros and cons depending on your preferences. The Galaxy S21 FE's big advantage is that it has a dedicated telephoto lens. The Pixel 6, by comparison, only has 2 lenses, a 50-megapixel wide-angle camera and a 12-megapixel ultra-wide-angle camera. That means the S21 FE is much better for taking closely zoomed photos. You can zoom up to 30 times digitally with the S21 FE, and that includes a 3 times optical zoom as well. The Pixel 6, by comparison, can only zoom in 7 times digitally. You also don't get that dual recording mode on the Pixel 6, but Google has some other camera tricks that Samsung is missing. One of my favorite features is face unblur, which fixes blurry faces when a subject is moving. Google Lens is also built right into the Pixel 6's camera, which is much more useful than Samsung's Bixby Vision. Image quality also varies a little bit between both devices. The Galaxy S21 FE, like other Samsung phones, tends to boost color, but the Pixel 6's photos looked a bit more realistic. Thankfully, both phones also take really great photos in low light conditions, although I did think that the Pixel 6's photo came out just a little bit brighter. The Galaxy S21 FE is a really solid phone for $700. It's cheaper than the S21 and is even better in some ways, such as when it comes to screen size and battery life. But the Pixel 6 is also a tempting choice. At $600, it's even less expensive than the S21 FE, although it is heavier than Samsung's phone and lacks a telephoto camera lens. Plus, Samsung's phone supports both flavors of 5G, while compatibility for Google's phone can vary between carriers. But the Pixel 6 does have a sharper design that makes it feel more expensive than it really is. Plus, it's packed with Google features that are really useful. For example, you can have the Google Assistant screen spam calls or wait on hold for you. Plus, the Pixel 6 is Google's first phone to come with its own Tensor chip, which means we'll probably see even more features like this in the future. You should also consider that Samsung's next major phone release, the Galaxy S22, might be right around the corner. It'll probably have a newer processor, and it could have a 50-megapixel camera and faster charging according to the leaks. If Samsung keeps the same pricing structure as the S21, the base model of the S22 might only be $100 more expensive than the S21 FE. So in other words, you should probably wait until the S22 is announced before making any big decisions. If you're interested in learning more about the S21 FE, check out the links in the description below. So what do you think? Are you going to buy the S21 FE, wait for the S22, or skip both and just get the Pixel 6? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.